Hey Preds Nation, Johnny here. I hope this video finds you well. I know we're all going through a rough patch here, some worse than others, but stay strong and we'll all get through the other side intact hopefully. In the meantime, I have been promising you content to keep you entertained and temporarily distracted from what is going on out there. For those who remember, back on New Year's Eve 2019, I put out a top 10 list of the greatest Preds of the last decade. Well, I thought it was only right to compile a list of the greatest Preds from the team's first decade. And since the Preds have existed since 1998, I will include the team's first 2 years on this list. First of all, some honorable mentions that I would like to highlight that just couldn't make this list include Cliff Ronning, Jason Arnott, Dan Hamhuis, Tom Fitzgerald, and a certain defenseman that shall not be named that plays for the Minnesota Wild now. Number 10, J.P. DUMONT. After the Buffalo Sabres declined to pay him an arbitration award he received, he would sign with the Predators in the summer of 2006. He would go on to play 5 seasons with the Predators, amassing almost 100 goals and over 250 points in that time. He still calls Nashville home to this day. Number 9, Greg Johnson. Originally, he was drafted by the Philadelphia Flyers in the 1989 NHL entry draft, and he was the Preds selection from the Chicago Blackhawks for the 1998 NHL expansion draft. He would serve as the Preds' second ever captain in franchise history, leading them to their first ever playoff series, and he would play his final 7 seasons in the NHL with the Preds. Number 8, Shea Weber. Now for those of you who will be saying right now, Johnny, what are you doing? He should be higher than 8. Go back and check my top 10 list of the greatest Preds from 2010 to 2019, and that should satisfy you. As for the first decade of the Preds, he was integral, yes he was, but there just happens to be 7 players I consider more important during those first few seasons for the Preds than he was. Number 7, KIMMO TIMONEN. TIMONEN was first acquired by the Preds along with Jan Vopak prior to the 1998 NHL expansion draft from the Los Angeles Kings, with the understanding that the Preds would not select Gary Galley in that expansion draft. Timonen would go on to play his next 8 seasons with the Predators, serving as the team's 3rd captain for the 2006-2007 NHL season. Number 6, Scott Walker. Walker was the Preds' selection from the Vancouver Canucks during the 1998 NHL expansion draft. And a little nugget that I had learned recently is the reason why Walker was available was because Mike Keenan had fought so hard to protect Peter Zezel when Brian Burke wanted Scott Walker protected over Peter Zezel. So we have Mike Keenan to thank for all those memories, Preds fans, that Scott Walker was available for David Poile to select him. Walker would go on to record the first ever home hat trick by a Preds player on December 26, 2000 in a 5-2 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. Walker would go on to play 7 seasons with the Preds, including the 2003-2004 season when his 25 goals and 67 points helped lead the Preds to their first ever playoff appearance in franchise history. Number 5, Thomas VOKOUN. VOKOUN was the Preds' selection from the Montreal Canadiens in the 1998 NHL expansion draft. Despite beginning the Preds' inaugural season 3rd on the team's depth chart, he would quickly move to be Mike Dunham's backup and would even record the team's first ever shutout in team history on January 15, 1999 against the Phoenix Coyotes at what was then known as Nashville Arena. A few seasons later, he would move to be the team's starter and would lead the team to its first ever playoff appearance in 2003-2004 season and would help the Preds to further playoff appearances the following 2 seasons after that. Number 4, Scott Hartnell. Hartnell was the team's 3rd ever first-round draft pick, having been selected 6th overall in the 2000 NHL entry draft. He would make the team out of camp his rookie season and would go on to play his first 6 seasons with the Preds before they had to trade him away to the Philadelphia Flyers due to financial problems the team was going through at the time. Fortunately for Preds fans, they would get to see him finish his career with the boys in gold when he returned for one more season, the 2017-2018 NHL season. Number 3, Steve Sullivan. On February 16th, 2004, the Nashville Predators' fortunes as a franchise would change forever. The Chicago Blackhawks, who Steve Sullivan played for at the time, traded him to the Preds for 2 second-round draft picks. Fortunately for the Preds, those 2 second-round draft picks that they gave to Chicago didn't turn out to be much. On the other hand, Steve Sullivan did wonders for his new team. In his first game as a Pred inside Gaylord Entertainment Center, Steve Sullivan would record a hat-trick against the San Jose Sharks, and he would go on to record 10 points in his first 3 games with his new team. Sullivan would go on to play 6 seasons with the Preds, including the 06-07 season when he suffered a catastrophic back injury, but the Preds supported him through it, and he would make a comeback and be the first Preds player to win a major NHL award when he won the 2009 Bill Masterton Trophy. Number 2, Martin ERAT. Originally drafted in the 7th round, 191st overall in the 1999 NHL entry draft, ERAT would go on to play 11 seasons with the Preds, record 3 20-goal seasons, and currently sits 4th all-time in team scoring. He would eventually be traded to the Washington Capitals at the 2013 NHL trade deadline for the man who will one day be the Preds' all-time scorer. Like I have to tell you that guy's name. Number 1, David LEGWAND. What can I say about David LEGWAND? He was the first player ever selected by the Preds 2nd overall in the 1998 NHL entry draft. He would go on to play in parts of 15 seasons for the Preds, including seeing them play in their first ever playoff series in 2004, and he got the insurance goal that won him the game that helped them win the team's first ever playoff series. Certainly, LEGWAND didn't turn out to be the superstar that the Preds had hoped he would be when they first drafted him, but to this day, he still leads the team in goals with 210 and total points with 566. When the day eventually comes for the Nashville Predators to create a ring of honor high above Bridgestone Arena ice, David LEGWAND's name will certainly be in consideration for such an honor. So that's my list of the greatest players to ever play for the Nashville Predators through the franchise's first decade or so. What do you think? Feel free to comment below. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. My, how I've missed putting out Pred fan reaction videos, but I promise you still I will put out content when inspiration hits me. For now, hit like if you like this video, hit subscribe if you really liked it, find my social media links by clicking the channel name, and most important of all, stay safe and stay healthy. We'll beat this thing.